Hi, Avanti.
Hey.
I saw that you were at MWC. It looked really cool. How was it?
Yeah, it was great, and I got to see some really cool tech. You'd have loved it.
Oh, yeah? What happened day one?
So day one was great. Day one was actually our day where we kind of went around, and just as we entered, you can definitely see the grandeur of MWC. At the entrance, it just is such a big scale event. I went around, saw some booths, and then I actually got ready for my Never Too Young to Lead panel. And just before that, I was able to speak to Elizabeth Marg, who's our Minister of Connectivity as well. So that was nice.
Oh, that's nice. Who all were on the panel?
So on the panel, there was Jill Rosen, who's the CMO of Amdocs, and Flora Guard, who's with Capgemini, and Bijou Nair, who's the EVP and head of the Connected Business Living Unit at Assurant.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I also heard that you saw Camille there too.
Yeah, I did. So in the evening, there was actually the Luxembourg delegates reception where there were a bunch of people. I saw Camille, I met Corinne Lozé, and Elizabeth Mark actually mentioned me in her reception speech. And then after, she followed me on Instagram. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, that is pretty cool. But don't worry. Don't get your hopes up too high. She'll follow me on Instagram too at some point. Yeah. Well, how was day two?
Yeah, no, day two was great. On day two, we actually went around and saw some booths. I think that was epic. And then later, I prepared for my panel.
Oh, nice. Well, first of all, speaking of booths, what were some of the booths which you saw? Give me a top three.
So, I saw some pretty cool booths. Some of them were actually open to the public, and others were actually closed off, which I was able to get into. And they were epic. I loved all of them, to be honest.
How were you able to go into some of the private ones?
Right. Okay. So basically, what happened is on day one, I was speaking to Jill and I saw the Amdocs booth and it looked epic, right? But it was limited to only the employees who could enter. So I actually mentioned it to Jill. I was like, I saw the booth and it was epic. And he asked if I went inside and I said it was limited. So I was like, oh, next time you should come over and just say you have a meeting with Jill. So I was like, sure. So I actually entered and, I spoke to him and everything like that. He did a whole tour of the booth for me. There were 2 floors too. So I got to see the executive meeting rooms, and not gonna lie, it was genuinely my favorite booth. On the top floor, you can actually see a great view of all of the booths in MWC, so that's my favorite thing. I have a picture up there as well.
Wow, yeah, sure. Send me that. That sounds really cool, though. What were your other two? Give me your top three, the rest of it, to complete the list.
Okay, top one, Amdocs for sure. Number 2 has to be Samsung, because it's Samsung. And number 3 is genuinely all of the smaller booths, because Google have this challenge where they put Android pins everywhere. Hang on, wait, I think I have one on my desk. Never mind. But basically, they have this challenge where you have Android pins everywhere and you have to go and collect them. So I love that. So that was epic.
Nice. Okay. That sounds pretty cool. So, how did you go about being a speaker at MWC? What happened? What also, benefits do you get?
Right. So honestly, being a speaker is epic because you have access to things which you can't even buy, So, with a speaker, you have everything from the leaders pass and above. So that means you can access all of the different conference rooms. You can access the debate stage. You can also go into special areas just for lounging and sitting around. But as a speaker, you also get the added benefit of being able to go into the speaker's lounge. So we actually have this kind of rule before any panel or anything in MWC that you have to be at the speaker's lounge half an hour before your session just to kind of prepare and debrief with the speakers.
Oh, wow. That's quite cool. And it sounds quite well organized as well.
100%. So honestly, coming to MWC, it was an event with 90,000 people attending, and that's a lot. But they actually organized it really nicely. The metros ran very fluidly, very quickly here and there. Everything was so clear. It was very difficult to get lost. I don't think you can, even if you tried. And also, they really made sure that they had security on. So, every time you would enter the event, they made sure that you were the real person who had the ticket, right? So you can't steal someone's ticket.
In this, I've got 2 questions. First of all, you said that it's impossible to get lost. I think that you guys did get lost at some point, but luckily you found people who were from MWC, somewhere in the city, to be able to guide you to be able to go to the event.
So what they've done is GSMA actually organized that they deploy people all over the city in the main places places to make sure that any of the attendees don't get lost. The second thing, which I found very interesting, was everyone from people in the hotels to just people in taxis, they knew what MWC was, and they knew that most of the people who, they were going to drive somewhere were actually going to MWC. So it was a big thing, everyone knew what was going on.
Yeah, like logistically, I can imagine this like huge event in a smallerish city being a huge challenge, but I'm glad that like Barcelona was able to handle it well. Speaking of the city, how was it? Like, were you able to explore? Like, did you have time?
I mean, our hotel was great because it was right on like the beach, but we actually never went to the beach, so we only saw the view. But honestly, I'm happy with the trip because for me, I went for the conference and I really feel like I got to see the conference. Another nice part was even though all of the delegates of the Luxembourg delegation didn't have the leaders pass to be able to technically see our event, I was able to pull something off to make sure that they could see. And they were really happy because on day 2 on the panel, I actually was wearing a scarf, which you might have seen, right? The blue and red one?
Yeah, like I was able to like tell what it was. Like it just looked like it had 3 colors on it. Like what was it?
Yeah, right. So actually, that scarf actually hosted the 3 colors of Luxembourg, right? So red, white, and blue, and it had the gay pile on it as well. So when I opened it after the panel, everyone from the delegation was really happy that I did that. So that was epic.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. But yeah, like it sounds like you had a great event, and it sounds like you had a good time. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, sure. But it's your time next time, okay?
Yeah, sure. 2024.
100%.
2025.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.